Alright, you bastards, this is Some-Belgian-prepper, and today we're going to talk about ultra-light bug-out bags. And we're going to talk about what's the best thing you can do, what are mistakes, what are misconceptions about it. But before we do that, if you're interested in a detective series, this is the first part of an 11-part series that I wrote. It's called Bloody Crosses. It's in Dutch. If you're interested, the link will be down in the description. So, ultralight bug-out bags. Why would you need an ultralight bug-out bag? Well, there's certain situations where you perhaps do not have much room. Like if you're going to bug out on a motorcycle, a bike, or something where you cannot get carry too much load on your back or put it on the bug out vehicle, or in a situation where you have to be very stealthy and swiftly. What do I mean by that? There are certain situations where you could be in need of a low profile and you need to make a quick getaway in case of you get spotted, because I made several videos about my usual bug out bag, and it's a really heavy bag, but that is because I calculated to be weeks on the road. So it's not actually a bug out bag for the 72 hours, but it's for much longer time. So the ultralight bag is for when I'm when I'm sure I have a certain bug out location, a certain destination where I need to get without where I might encounter dangers, because with my large bug out bag, if I need to run, any person can catch up with me unless I need to unless I throw the bag away or fight back. But that's not always the option, because people have guns. Most people are faster if you have a heavy bag on your back. So yeah, sometimes you just need to travel lightly. And I made this video because lately I've been a little bit obsessed with Highland survival from Scotland, and soon I'm going to make a video about the Great Kilt and the survival purposes about it. But I need to do some testing first. But till that time, I'm going to make a bug out bag that is as light as possible, but still full of quality and full of materials that will aid me, are multifunctional and to carry weight, because in Scotland and the Highlands you need to travel light because you're going up rough terrain. And yeah, if you carry a heavy pack, I know from my own experience that that could be very heavy, especially if you go into mountainous terrain. So that's why I get my other bug out bag. This is actually my first bug out bag that I bought, but the problem was that it was a little bit, when it's a little bit too heavy, it can cut into this. But with ultralight, it's not really that big of an issue. And if you're wondering why I wear this is part of the bug out bag. I'm going to take this off because, as you can see, it is. Many people would say to this, why do you call this an ultralight bug out bag? Because it's just a backpack. It's really big. But because some people will say, I've seen videos on YouTube about people who made bug out bags that are just this small, but you have to take into account a few things. Those people are usually very skilled in bushcraft, and they live in an environment where they are more allowed to do such stuff. I live here in Belgium, and I know the moment there is a disaster and people start to evacuate, there will be less resources. There are not that many hiding places for shelter and such, because it's a more rural open terrain. There are not that much forest around, and yeah, that's not really something you can depend on. So you will in Belgium you will still need something like this, and it will be considered very light if you're going to do a bug out. And alright, so I'm going to show you the contents of my ultralight bug out bag. And yeah, if you're wondering why I wear this great coat, first of all, I made a video about all the benefits of a woolen trench coat. So if you're interested in that, look it up. And the reason why is because if I'm going to do a bug out with this ultralight bug out bag, I'm going to take this with me, the woolen trench coat, because wool is one of the best materials in the world, to my opinion. it will keep 80% of their heat, even when it's soaking wet. It can be a little bit, because of the natural oils inside of it. It can be rain deterrent to a certain extent, and because it keeps you very warm. And if you can see, this comes almost to the height of my boots, so this is almost full. And why do I take this with me? Because I can just take this over my regular clothing, and will keep me warm from the neck to the top side of my boot. And this is actually also an improvised uh, sleeping bag in a way. So the moment I'm going to bug out and I make or find a shelter, this would be my sleeping bag where I sleep in. And yeah, many people will say that's not really comfortable. A few days ago I did a test with some friends, and yeah, I've slept in my greatcoat, and to be honest, it really worked to a certain extent, because the only problem I got is everything beneath. If you lay down, it will get a little bit higher from the beneath, and everything from under the knee was a little bit uncomfortable, but I would have survived. So this is actually a sleeping bag that I would use in with my ultralight bug back. I'm going to take this off because it would be more easier to talk. So yeah, and if you see the video that I made about the trench coat, you can roll it up in a certain way, and like the Soviet soldiers, you can carry it around your bug back or your waist in a comfortable way if it's too hot. So yeah, first of all, this is something that I recommend with an ultralight coat, because this is actually improvised shelter and also a sleeping bag, and it will keep you warm, warm and out of the wind at the same time when you're on the road. So I'm going to put this out of the way. So yeah, that's already weight spared, but many people would say, but there are many jackets that are lighter and more effective. But yeah, I prefer this wool because wool is more sturdy. Because if I'm going to make a fire with a woolen coat and I get embers, embers on side of me because I have to get close to the fire to get a little bit warm or cook, then the problem is if you have a jacket made out of modern materials, it will start to melt the moment that there is an ember in it, and it will start to lose insulation. It can start to burn. It will have holes that will lose heat. So with wool, you don't have that problem. So that's also another solution to a certain problem. Beneath it, I would always wear a woolen sweater, because it will also keep me warm when I'm going to sleep inside of the woolen trench. But enough of that. That's a big part of the ultralight bucket bag. But with the ultralight bucket bag, first of all, we're going to start off with everything on the outside. First of all, a poncho, a rain poncho in more defense. So yeah, a rain poncho. This can be used, of course, when you're on the road. It starts to rain or mist or snow. You can put it on top of you, and yeah, you will not get wet. Second thing is, it's also a great way to, as a, how do you say this? If you're going to sleep somewhere and the ground is a little bit moist or cold, if you're going to sleep, it will pull the warmth out of your body, and that's not really good, even with a woolen greatcoat. So yeah, I would suggest to find some newspapers or some wood or some twigs or leaves. Make a little bed and put this up on top of it before you go to sleep, so you will have something that will protect you from the cold underground. And it can also be made as an improvised shelter. This is a bug out, by the way. It is not camping. It will not be comfortable. It is to get you from point A to point B in a very difficult situation. So I'm going to use this as an improvised shelter above me, or I'm going to sleep inside of this to protect me from the moist when I'm going to sleep in and stay warm with my trench coat. So this is one of the most important things that you can carry with you in the ultralight bug out bag. I know there are lighter models than this, but I use, like I said in the beginning, I prefer things that are strong materials and multifunctional. So yeah, that is the first thing I would take. Next thing, of course, the the water canteen. So yeah, I I would suggest to take a metal one, because metal, this can be, I can put water inside of this and then still boil it, and it will be more sturdier than something lighter than a plastic water bottle. Because if a plastic water bottle falls on the ground, it breaks, you're fucked in a way. But metal, it will be dented and it will be no problem. Yeah, I know it will be a little bit heavier for the ultralight bug out bag, but like I said before, I prefer something that is more durable and can withstand more or harsh conditions than some modern materials that will break easily, break easily, and you cannot repair it easily. So uh, yeah, a water bottle canteen is made out of metal, by the way, is the best thing you can do. Although it's heavier for your ultralight bug out bag, but yeah. The next thing we're going to talk about, uh, an email cup. Yeah, of course, some rope, paracord, of course, because I can get more rope out of this because of the smaller ropes that are inside of it. And I would suggest to take one of these metal cups. But one would say, why do you need that if you can be more functional with how do you say this, with one of those military canteens that are fitting around your water bottle like this? Because I consider that, and I do not like those for a few reasons. First of all, they are not sturdy. They are usually made out of aluminum, and yeah, they are too deep for what I'm planning to do with this. Because one of the foods that I'm going to take with me are oatmeals, and many people will say, "Why oatmeals? Why not one of those rations or something smaller that has more energy?" I will tell you why within a minute. Um, First of all, this is more sturdier. You can put this on fire; it will not start to bend, but it will not start to bend. And if the fire is too hot, some aluminum starts to get weaken it, and that could be a problem. And what I like about this is I can make a cup of tea inside of this, and I can prepare food really quick with the oatmeals. Why? I also have some milk powder inside of it. I will show you later. But what I would do is if I can make a big meal without any need of fire that I would waste time underway. So what you do is you take just pour some water inside of it with water bottle. You put some oatmeal in it, start to mix, and you can start to eat out of it. But why would you eat out of this and not out of a big thing? Because if you it would I would say it's more handier to eat separate smaller meals than to eat one big meal that will make you feel too full. So what I like about this is if I put oatmeal inside this with water and perhaps for more energy or more taste, some milk powder, mix it, and that way you can see my whole finger can fit through the bottom. So if you're done with eating, you can just start to scoop the last part of it, eat it, and it's almost clean. You will need less water to clean this out with, and you can have more food that you will not have to waste. Because if you have one of those big canteens that you eat out of, those are very hard to get the last things out of it. It's more the surface that you need to clean and that you will use water for. So I prefer this to actually eat out of with the oatmeals. And oatmeals are something that they used in the during long trips in the Scotland survival in the survival Highlanders. So yeah, this will be great for a source of calories, and it will fill you very good because they are oatmeals. So yeah, that's something that I would definitely do. I will make a video about oatmeal and this way of food, nutrition and calories during bug outs. But yeah, that is just a little preview. Then, of course, a little bit salt. Why would you take salt with you? Because I've done one of those bug out exercises a long time ago, and it was during the summer, and I was sweated a lot because I had to walk in open terrain with full sun on side of me. I sweat a lot, so you will lose a lot of salt during your sweat. And yeah, salt is you can replenish that salt in your electrolytes in your body with some salt, mixing with your drinks that you can use. And it's also handy for if you want to eat something and you can flavor it with some salt. Very handy. Next thing is, and yeah, Many people would say, why the hell would you use something like this in a ultra light bug bag? And that is this pot. This is a copper pot, and why would I use something like this? One would say, and not one of those smaller, very light. It's for the same reasons that I said before. Those aluminum are less. How do you say this? Durable. They get dented very easily, and this is actually multifunctional. First of all, here's another pack of ultra of I mean oatmeal inside of it. Those are two packages of oatmeal that I can get very long with. It's very light food. And second of all is copper has certain properties. If you're going to make a fire, and we all know how long it could take with a metal pot till it gets boiling. But copper is a conductor. You will need less time and energy from the fire to boil water than with some other materials. So copper is very good in that regard. And another thing is, I like copper because if you want to, how do you say this, have some water if you're going to sleep and you need some clean water the day after if you wake up. Copper is kills pathogens. It can kill bacteria, viruses. So if you're going to sleep, you put water inside of the copper pot, and you will let it rest for or 8 to 12 hours inside of it. You will everything will be dead inside of it. I tested this out in my 7-day trial when I when I do the big bug in scenario, and I put water in my copper pots, and I use that more for sanitation reasons. So it's not really. I would prefer other ways to get drinkable water, but it can be used as drinkable water. But I would use it more for washing your face or some other, or for cooking, more for cooking or some other ways that you can and filter, or how do you say this, sanitize the water that you can put inside of this and let it rest during the night or something. So yeah, those are the benefits of copper pots. I made a video about the survival uses of copper pots. So yeah, I know it's a little bit more heavier, but for the benefits and the multifunctionality and the durability of this, I would put it in my ultra light bug out bag. So we're going to the next stuff. Yep, here we go. This is just a small. This is more my first aid kit, because even though I want to make it ultra light, there are certain things that you need that you can and that you need for your even for small bug out scenarios or trips. So we all got the regular things: some bandages, some water purification tablets, a Swiss knife. Why do I keep this inside of this and not outside? Because this has been sanitized with my UV light, and if I'm going to do some medical practices with this, I want to use a clean knife and tools for that job. So you can use your multi-tool, but your multi-tool is something that you use a lot with other chores or tasks. So I want a multi-tool that is clean and sterile when I'm going to use my first aid kit. Next thing is honey. I know this is a ton fuck of honey, but honey is a good source of energy. So I can make an energy drink with, like I did with my bug out exercise of 30 kilometers during the very hot summer. I mix honey with water, some salt, and that is a good energy drink that will provide electrolytes and also quick energy because of the sugar. So, and honey can also be used as an antibacterial. So I do not have how do you say this, medical alcohol inside of this, but if I have a wound, I can smear some honey over it, and it will be a protective layer that will be antibacterial and kill bacteria like that. So that will save some space. Next thing is just some nylon wire. If you can see, it also contains some nails for making a shelter, and also some needles in case I get a hole or something tears in my clothing or my shelters. So yeah, it is very strong, and yeah, could be used for many tasks, because this is a hell of a lot of cordage that you have for the amount of weight and volume that you use inside of this. Next thing, of course, Israeli bandages, very important in case you get from a very severe bleeding. It's something between a tourniquet and a high pressure bandages. So I always keep one of these inside of my bug out bag, ultralight bug out bag, by the way, and just the regular things, some medical tape, some bandages, some emergency blankets, because an emergency blanket is something that I not consider durable, but it can be used in case of a I need to make a makeshift shelter, improvised shelter, or something that if when it's very cold, I can use it as an extra layer for over my woolen blanket. I mean woolen jacket. So yeah, that's that's another thing that you can put inside of it. And now we can get to the last part. And this is actually the most important one. Oh no, wait. There is still some left that I've forgotten about. Of course, the trusty balaclava, of course, made out of wool. And why I would use this is if I'm going to sleep in a shelter with my this is actually something that I used with my trench coat when I was sleeping, because the head would still be exposed, and I put this on and my whole head get warm. I could breathe easily, and it protected me a little bit from some of the cold. And yeah, this keep your head warm even while sleeping, while walking, and yeah, it's multifunctional. And even if you do not use it, you can just roll it up and be a little bit like what is this guy called, Harry from Home Alone. So yeah, it is multifunctional. I always keep it in my bug out bag, and this could be very beneficial for several reasons in your ultralight bug out bag. So balaclava made out of wool, very good. Even when you start to sweat, it will start to get wet, and it will still even keep you warm even then. Next thing, of course, Shamak. I made a video about the 55 survival uses of Shamak. If you have a Shamak, you can do 55 survival tasks with this. I would say look it up in the video because it's too much to name it. And I think if my backpack would break, I could even use this to put all my stuff inside of it and use it as a backpack even. So I'm confident to say that actually. Next thing is, of course, a little survival multi tool, and yeah, this is the mirror, compass, and magnifying glass to make fires, and a little bit of how do you say this, fire starter inside of it, a little knife. So yeah, a little fishing hook, a little also a small light. So yeah, this is very handy to make your bug out bag ultra light. And now we come to the last part, and I put this inside of this because this is actually the most important. Even if I have to drop my bug out bag, this is the thing that I would take with me, because I can put this around me and save space. If I find something else that could be handy in survival, I can put this in my bug out bag and wear this on the outside. Even with the bug out bag, I can put it on my waist, around my shoulder, even attached to my back. And yeah, I will show you what's inside of it. So first of all, there is of course a survival knife. Why I would this is a Glock knife, and I've talked about this in another video on about why I would consider this one of the best survival knives. Well, first of all, I put some extra cordage on the side of it, so yeah, to make stuff. I got some needles to sew with the nylon wire inside of it. I attached a little bit a small whetstone inside of it, so I can always sharpen it. I know it does not look that good, but it's working. And I put some extra tape around it because you can never know when you need some tape. And of course, the Glock knife has a certain benefit. It's not only good sharp, and it's not sharpened on around this side, so you can use it for knocking, like splitting wood on top of it because of the flat surface around here. And it has also some a saw on it, so I can use it to make improvised shelters with this. So I do not need to take a saw with me. I know it's not the biggest saw, but it can do the job. So yeah, and it's a very good survival knife, and it can be used to in case of self defense, and it has a hard enough surface to knock on something, to knock in the nails I talked about, and also to knock something open. So yeah, the Glock survival knife is one of the best survival knives in my opinion. So of course I would put this inside of it. We're going to the next stuff. A water filter. This is actually one of those life throw, but many people would say, but how can you fill this up with this? Well, as you can see, it has some screw wire inside of it, and you will see in a minute, perhaps I can already show you it. Yeah, here it is. As you can see, this is, how do you say this? A plastic bag with a top that you can screw around this. If you fill this with water and you squeeze, you can pressure the water outside of the filter, and I can put this inside of the water bottle and fill it up that way. So yeah, but yeah, it will not protect. You need to watch out because this will not filter out viruses, but it will filter out bacteria. So a water filter, very light. I know it's not the best one on the market, perhaps, or the most versatile, but that is the one that I would put in my ultralight bug out bag for always have clean water. What's next? I know many people will say this does not belong in a ultralight bug out bag, but I consider it something very important because, as you can see, this is the Luco candle holder. If I'm going to be in a shelter at night, I know it's more handier to have a flashlight or something like that, but in my experience, I always have problems with batteries. I'm cursed with batteries. I cannot rely enough on batteries to rely on that alone. So I always take some a candle holder with me, and as you can see, I stacked a few tea light candles inside of it. So with this, if I estimated how much light I can get with this, is like in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 times 6. So I have at least 30 hours of light with what's inside of this. So that's also the reason why I take a whole box of tea light candles with me. They are very light, and I can have a light for weeks with this. I know it's not the biggest light, but it's sturdy, it's handy. I can even carry it when I'm walking through inside of a dark building or something. But another benefit of this is if I'm going to build a campfire, instead of struggling with a Tyndall, I can just use one match. I can use one strike with a lighter, and put this inside of it. And if I'm ready to start a fire, I can take the Kindle, put it here inside of it, protected from the wind and moist, and start to light a fire with that instead of doing 10 to 20 attempts with striking it. So that's another benefit and multifunctionality of the Luco candle holder. Yeah, and if you can see, this has a small metal surface on the side of it. So if I'm going to make tea, I can just put my cup on top of it while the candle is burning. I have light. I can keep my tea always warm. If you could put it on long enough, it can even boil it. But to be honest, that will almost take an hour before this will start to boil from just a candlelight. So yeah, that's but it's multifunctional if you're going to take rest and sleep during your bug out with your ultralight bug out bag. So next thing is a multi-tool. Of course, multi-tool. You can carry this on your waist bag band, but this is a bug out bag. So everything that if you're going to if you're going to evacuate within a few minutes, this is a thing that you can take and get out. And of course, don't forget your woolen trench coat. But the multi-tool is something that you always need to have in your bug out bag or EDC wherever you go. Next thing is the survival radio. I know I'm not, like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of electronics, but this is one of the exceptions because this is very, very multifunctional. It has a solar panel, it has a hand crank. It's of course, like I said, a radio, so I can even get a message. I can even receive transmission from many countries around Belgium. So sometimes even Spain and Italy and England. So yeah, that's very handy, and it has also a light on top of it, and that you can recharge. But to like I said before, it is also a delicate. Not really. It's not. It's a little bit sturdier than most models, but it's still delicate electronics that I cannot rely 100% on. So yeah, and it has another benefit. It has a little alarm system, like this is a little light. How do you say this? A little sensor, and if somebody walks across it, then and this starts to shine, and it's an early warning system if somebody enters your perimeter, so you can set up a defense, or you can take everything and flee away in case you do not want bad company. So yeah, this is something that I definitely would put in my ultralight bug bag because it's very multifunctional. And but to be honest, I cannot rely this enough on this to not have the Yuluko candle holder. All right, we're almost there. This is the milk powder that I talked about. So milk powder together with oatmeal is a good, not only a good breakfast but also a good dinner and late dinner. So yeah, milk powder. It is not really that necessarily, but it is extra energy in a small packages, qua volume and weight. Next, it is just some matches. I always carry some matches with me, very light. I did this how much 100 piece of matches, so I can make a lot of fires with this, and it still will stay right inside with this. Yeah, that is a thing of me. I always take several different ways to start a fire. So yeah, I got my lighter with a little bit tape around it, so that's also a little bit saved. Uh, some wood cardboard matches, and of course the a fire starter striker, with the magnesium. So yeah, I have several ways to start a fire, and these three things are increasing the chances of making a fire. It's very light, it does not take that much room inside of it, and even when the lighter is broken, I can still use some of the leftover fluid. I can still use the firestone inside of it, and yeah, perhaps even parts of the metal to make something, like a small knife or something to make a fishing hook out of it. So yeah, if you have fantasy and improvisation, you can save a lot of weight and space inside of your ultralight bugger bag. Go with the next. Just some extra isolation duct tape, because you can never have enough duct tape. Uh, I think a spoon, of course, for eating out of some oatmeals, because yeah, well, I said before that I would use my fingers to use the last pieces of oatmeal out of it, but a spoon is very handier, and you can mix the oatmeals with the milk powder or water with the side of it, and you can eat it without the need of fire. Um, and it is the last part, and that is soap. But this is not just regular soap. This is soap with glycerin, and you can use it not only to wash your body or to wash your hands for before or your wounds, but it can also be used to wash your clothing. So yeah, that's the multifunctional part of it, and it's in block form. So I always prefer soap that is made in blocks, because yeah, these last longer and are less expensive than those special soaps that you get, liquid soaps that you get. So yeah, and like you can see, this is just something that you can use. You can store much more inside of it. So yeah, all everything that I showed you, I weighed it, and it was less. It was around 10 and a half kilograms. So in contrary to my other bug bag, which was always between 17 and 19 kilograms. But to be honest, my big bug bag of 17, 19 kilograms is also to be on the road for weeks and weeks without the use of anything else. So yeah, this 10 and a half kilogram is to me considered ultralight. But it's ultralight. I know some people will say, but I saw that guy with a bug out bag of only 4 kilograms. But like I said before, those are materials that are very light. They are not really that durable. They are perhaps handy if you're going to a one trip, but everything that I use here, it's something that you can use for many years and many times. And like I said, that's more important than something that you can only use once, because you can be profound in your survival tools if you keep using them, if you get familiar with them. So yeah, if you always have to replace stuff because it's broken, or it's start to tear away, then it's not good. Then you will have to learn some new. You have to learn to work with the new tools that you bring in. Yeah, I prefer tools that I can use for the rest of my life, and everything that I showed here are things that I have been using for many times, many years, and they are still fine. They're still functional. So yeah, I have faith in my capability. How do you say this? My skills and my materials and tools. So, and that's what's important with ultralight bug out bag. So yeah, I think I've been ranting long enough on this ultralight bug out bag, but it's something to give you an idea. I'm going to try to make it even more smaller if I find other ways to find multi-tools. So if somebody over there if know any other uses of the tools that I've been showing you here, or some alternative that I can use, please leave it in the comments. I'm always eager to learn, and I'm always appreciating if somebody give me a good tip from the comments. I always read them. So subscribe, like, all that good stuff. Give me advice, give me alternatives, give me new ideas. I'm always eager to learn. I hope it will help you and that you will never need it. And yeah, thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. Cheers.